All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We have two Alexes with us today. Alex from Catchmaster and Alex from Miami Mango right there in Think Grow. And today we're going to be doing a deep dive on really the placement and best practices of plant monitoring. So I feel like David Letterman here, my next guest needs no introduction. Everyone knows these guys, but maybe give a little background, Alex Miami Mango. You're just going to be Miami for the rest of this.
I'll answer to Miami or Mango, either or. I'm used to it. How you guys doing? My name is Alex Viegas, and I'm a cultivator. I've been cultivating for about 30 years. We do operate a 20,000 square feet facility in Sacramento, California, which is the mecca of cannabis, we believe. We're based out of the Green Zone. The Green Zone has 2.5 million square feet of indoor canopy in that district. There's 8 districts in Sacramento. District 6 is loaded with all the major brands that everybody loves around the world.
And what's up? I'm Alex Schroeder with, a little feedback here. I'm Alex Schroeder with, let me go up a little bit here. Yeah, with Catchmaster. I was a grower for a long time in the medical area. I did a lot of medical grows. And then I started working for Botanica over the years with R&D and as a rep as well for Northern California, and then got in working with Royal Gold. But what I'm doing now is for a company called Catchmaster. We manufacture sticky traps and pest monitors, and I put an extra emphasis just on pest monitoring and kind of spreading the word around about proper placement and proper use. That's been my 100% focus.
Yeah, and Miami has, if you haven't been to this facility or seen it, the cleanest facility in the United States, probably the world. I haven't been to every facility in the world. I've toured a couple in the United States, but the cleanest facility, and Catchmaster is a huge part of that. So maybe we dive into that, How did it all start with you guys working together?
I met Alex by accident. There was a guy by the name of Jeff. He worked for me, and he ended up being Alex's neighbor.
That's right.
Alex's neighbor, and then he was telling me about the products, and he said the guy, Alex, wanted to come by and meet me and stuff like that, so he came by, and then he gave us some samples, and we tried them out, and then it was pretty cool, because my director of cultivation at the time, he came in, he came in from the beginning, and he did something at his previous grow to where he stuck a yellow note card on every single Rockwell cube. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that would be expensive. They were big, but I said, why not? This is why are you putting them there? And he explained it to me. He goes, well, you can put these cards, up, and cards are to identify what kind of pest you have. That's the main use why these yellow sticky cards are made, is to identify what pest, so then you know what you're fighting. But my director of cultivation ended up putting them at the source where the bugs go to breed or put their eggs, and then that's where the eggs get hatched. So it makes sense that as soon as the little female is going to go and stick the larvae into rock review, she might get stuck because she gets attracted to the yellow, kind of like we all go towards the light.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
And Alex, you actually really inspired us to really put more focus on that concept. It was definitely very unique. Prior to meeting Alex at Miami Mango, we were essentially just kind of haphazardly putting up sticky traps in a room, maybe one every 1,200 square feet. People are using them. If they're using it properly, they're using it as a monitor, right? They check it maybe once, twice a week, determine what kind of pests they have, determine the right action, and then check it again to see if that action's working. That's generally the kind of the scientific approach, but meeting him and seeing their methodology, which is you could call mass trapping or mass monitoring, and also think of it as zones rather than just hanging one above the canopy. They're actually slapping one on the side of every single piece of rock wool or every other piece of rock wool, and we are able to actually make it affordable because you make it in bulk and you make the traps a little bit smaller because you're able to do that, and then they also. We do some R&D with you guys a little bit, and you helped us realize that if you're going to innovate on something like kind of as simple as a sticky trap, you think generally like sticky traps. Oh, I don't, those things are annoying, or I don't really like them. They're messy. But what we did is we made it so that the adhesive is actually like, it doesn't stick to your skin, doesn't leave a mess, but also it has a tab so you can peel it with gloves on. It's these simple little things that reduce labor cost and actually make it possible for you to actually put it down below the canopy on the rock wool. You actually just slap it on there. You don't even need a stand or a stake even. They come with stands and stakes and all that. But then you put one, at the canopy level and above the canopy level as well, but you don't have to put them on every plant as the higher you go up because of the maturity levels. Really where it's going to be happening is actually down below at the medium. And you could do this too on like grow bags as well, which are pretty popular because the plastic grow bags especially, they stick on there. But if you have a medium where you need to stick in like soil or something like that, you just use a stand. And it's that zone basically, zone 1 I like to call it.
One of the great things about their cards, they weren't cardboard. They were like a plastic material, and obviously when you go spray foliar, you spray a pesticide, the cardboard cards start getting wet and they start folding. So their cards happen to be a plastic, and just like he said, the glue's different. I made a couple of videos promoting their product to where other companies have this sticky glue that's kind of like a rat glue kind of like thing, that's super sticky and is hard to wash off, and their cards, you can stick them onto your skin and pull them off. Trust me, they're sticky as heck, but they don't leave any residue. So that was another thing that we liked about them. The plastic, they don't get waterlogged and they don't bend down. They were big. So when we first started this, we started then, you know what, these things are too big. It looked like a yellow flag everywhere, which is cool, but they were a little too big unnecessary. So we started being a little bit more cost effective, and we started cutting them in half and then even in quarters. And then we always gave this feedback back to them so they could learn from it. And just like he said, one of the things that they're sticky traps. Most of my guys have gloves when they're working in the facility. It was hard to peel, the peel back paper. So then they started leaving a little area to where you wouldn't have to take your gloves off to be able to peel this stuff. So we definitely work together in developing the products that assisting the development or the innovation of their products.
Yeah, I think the most successful vendors, if we go all across this show this week, they're the ones that listen. They set up a feedback loop where they're in the grow with their customers, learning your pain points, and then bringing that back to their product innovation cycle. And I think you guys do that really well.
Yeah, because it's hard to if you're completely focused on manufacturing sticky traps, it's like, what do you do, right? Like, how do you even improve something like that? But the reality is that when I first started looking into it, I had a negative association with sticky traps. To me, they were annoying, and so it's like to approach it to where it's actually helpful and useful, and also getting the education out there about pest monitoring and action. When I first started doing this about 4 years ago, specifically focusing on this, I noticed that more than half growers weren't using them as monitors. Necessarily they weren't checking them to see what they had and where they had it and when they had it, and if what they were doing was working. And so it's kind of like that component actually really opens up opportunity to have a positive kind of light on the sticky traps use, in the grow. And like he said, that material actually does matter a lot, because what you see out there is these cardboard, products, they're paper, and those end up getting soggy, and they end up flopping down.
They bend,
and they also can attract fungus and mold, which you definitely don't want in that area. You don't want to be catching all that. So having that antimicrobial kind of waterproof trap is important. And then placement of it that's where we're kind of starting to innovate more, is about, well, where do you put them, and that's what I was saying, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3.
That's what you call the 3-zone layer.
3-zone layer, yeah. And
zone defense.
Yeah, exactly. And it's more below, and then kind of go less as you go higher up. Yeah.
I think after I started posting that on Instagram, then I started seeing a pattern. These other guys do it, and they post about it, and then I think a lot of people have adopted that way of using the sticky straps.
Yeah. Deleted at 300,000. You're the most deleted Instagram account I've ever seen in my life.
62 deletions.
Yeah.
62. Hopefully not 63 this week, but could be.
No, yeah, hopefully not.
It's tough. It's tough world out there.
It's tough out there, guys.
Yeah.
You build an account just to educate, just like you said, right? You put out a video about Catchmaster, other growers start adopting those trends, and then you get deleted.
We also developed a poster. I actually have some here with me. I'm going to give out this week. It's a pest identification poster that you put kind of in your facilities, so you can train staff, or you can sharpen the idea of what a pest looks like on a sticky card. Because if you go on Google or you start looking this stuff up, They're usually images, first of all, how they look on a plant, not how they look on a sticky card. And the other issue is that it's more than half the time it's wrong. And so we actually specifically make a poster so you can identify what's good, what to be worried about, and things like that. Just that's something that we give out for free. You guys can anytime you can just DM me on Catchmaster Alex or Catchmaster_Alex, and I can send you one out anytime. And these posters are really great for training facilities.
Yep. Another thing that they developed was everybody uses plant tags to identify your strain, and it all starts obviously when you make clones. So he made this pretty cool little plant tags that somebody can identify. On one side you can write the strain, and the other side you can see that you can peel the sticky, and then you stick it inside your clone tray. So you start not only identifying, but you start also catching the little pests, at the clone stage. So this was kind of helpful. I think we had a part of this, developing this thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, I mean, it's really just like that inspiration of he's always pointed out, it's about labor, right? It's like ease of use. Yep. It's already got the point, stick it in there. And then also, it doesn't need to be huge, right? Especially for that particular stage. You're going to put it, so that's really what it is too, is it's like not just throwing it into your mom room and just hanging one like we're saying. I always say the word haphazardly because that's kind of like the habit that we developed as growers, was just throw it up in there and then you get satisfied because it has gnats on there. But the reality is that if you actually start at the early stage, you put one in the clone tray, and then that way you could check it before you do that transplant. Check it, look at it, see if you have anything alarming. A fungus gnat here and there, that's super common, unfortunately. We all know that. But winged aphid,
Thrips.
something like that, thrips, these kind of things, you're not going to want to transfer that into the next room or the next stage. And then, and then of course you just kind of graduate from there. So that's the reason why we have this dual action plant label.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. Tell them about the lights too.
Yeah, let's dive into those. Before we dive into that, actually, you had a really interesting story that we were chatting a bit with about the Powerhouse facility.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the Powerhouse facility in Sacramento, was pretty close to you there. They had one area where they had a high amount of pest pressure, we call it. Pest pressure is essentially like where the pests are coming from or where they're going next. And this was fungus gnats, but it gets to a certain point of nuisance and potential health issues with the plants. Eventually could cause root rot, stem rot, and things like that. So we just put these, we create a product called Vector Fly Lights by Catchmaster. So we've been making glue boards for a long time. The glue boards go behind this UV light that's specialized, that it actually attracts flying pest to the glue board. Initially, we didn't make the actual light unit, so we make the glue boards for all the companies that make light units, but now we do actually manufacture the light unit itself, and that's called Vector by Catchmaster, and they come in like two double bulbs, single bulbs, grilled, not grilled, and what that means basically is like just more commercial to more residential in the sense of like the brightness of the light, because sometimes the light itself could be kind of annoying. If you're like sitting in a restaurant, you don't want that light right in your face while you're eating and all that kind of stuff, so we make a grilled version. But in a facility, what you want to do is put these in the hallways, is what we've discovered. And when you're going from one room to the next room, this is pretty standard how the indoor grow facilities are built out. You open up that room with all that, there's that pest pressure in there. You don't see it all the time, but they're coming out down that way and they're making their journey to the next room. And if you put a light out just outside of each room, you'll actually see it fade. It's pretty cool. Like you'll see the initial high pressure area will be full of fungus gnats or whatever pressure you have flying pest. And then you'll see it actually reduce like gradient as you get towards the end of the hallway, and it's actually quite satisfying. And you just change those glue boards out. They're super affordable. You just change those glue boards kind of out as they fill up. But something interesting too that we're just now starting to do R&D on is with him is he's actually putting them in the veg room. So before I was and I still slightly am hesitant to tell people to put them right in the grow room because it's another light source, and all that, and you have to deal with that. But you seem to be working in the veg room okay for you.
They haven't had a problem in like 2 years or something like that.
Yeah,
we put them in
I
the
think
bedroom.
it's safe to tell people now.
Yeah, it's probably safe to tell people.
Yeah.
I think what it is too is that UV can burn, if it's really close. And because I've had I have a facility that does just tissue culture and in small plants and stuff, and they had the light pretty close, probably a couple feet away from it, and it was actually kind of the UV itself was kind of burning the leaves a little bit from the bulb.
I want to point something out about his lights. When I started working with Alex, I think we might have had a couple of other lights from other manufacturers, but they zap the bugs. You know, we all know, we see those bug zappers, and you know, as soon as the bug touches the little wire or whatever it is, it saps the bugs. And yeah, it kills the bug, but it also saps it to where the thing explodes, and it's kind of gross.
Yep.
And he pointed that out to me. He goes, dude, you know, that's kind of gross. And you know what? Think about it. He's right. I do have a clean facility, and then I try to do everything that I can to, maximize cleanliness and minimize any issues. So he says, you know, his lights attract the bugs, but it has a sticky strip that you insert in the light that it fits perfectly. Not only, once again, it helps you identify what kind of pest pressure you have, but also once the sticky thing is full of bugs, you pull it out and you put another one. So you're not sapping bugs and exploding them all over the place.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's actually, it technically implodes them, actually, believe it or not, which is even worse. So when they hit the zappers, they sort of implode and they create this mess, and it's actually not sanitary at all. And then, like he said, you also have no idea what that was. You know, generally these are used in the back of a restaurant or hotel facility as like a filth fly trap.
Which is gross.
But they work extremely well in grow facilities. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild, and it's actually probably the most innovative kind of game changer as far as like indoor grow facilities are concerned. Like, you know, everyone's familiar with yellow sticky traps, and sure, we talk about new ways of using them and placement, but surprisingly, you don't see these type of lights, these vector fly lights specifically that are attracted to a glue board, really in very many facilities yet, and where it's slowly becoming more common. And once you put that thing in, it lasts a really long time. The bulb strength lasts a really long time. You're just changing out the glue boards, like I said. Yeah.
Yep, we have them pretty much down our hallways at low levels.
Yeah.
Pretty much in before all the doors, and
Right.
we love them.
And that's actually a good point too about the height too. If you put them up too high, they're not going to work too well. Generally, you don't want to go higher than 4 feet.
Yeah, in the low areas.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the walkway. And I saw them at James Loud's facility as well.
Yep,
when
the
I was
James
out
Loud
there.
has them, Powerhouse facility, Redemption Botanical. Yeah, there's a lot of facilities that are using them. And not just, like I said, not just gnats and, and thrips and all that, but you also have filth flies from like common areas and break rooms, and you're going in and out and all that. And there is some risk involved with those as well, spreading disease and issues.
Yeah, and shout out Sacramento, all of our growers out there. It's the epicenter of R&D. I was just talking to Tim from Faven earlier this morning before we were chatting, and he just built his R&D facility out there. Just so much technology and trends and knowledge are coming out of that small area.
And I live over there as well.
Yeah,
just east of Sacramento.
Oh,
yeah,
it's nice for me. Yeah,
a lot of innovation. Like I said, Sacramento's got 8 districts. The District 6 is the green zone. What is the dubbed as the green zone because it's 2.5 million square feet of your favorite growers are over there. So competition's fierce. Cool. And innovation's fierce too, you know. And we're all friends. We all meet after and then, talk about issues. And that's kind of how the Connect event kind of started.
Right.
You know, when people would go have a beer at this one place, the brewery, and then there was, what happened to you today? What'd you flood? Or, what kind of issues happened? And you start discussing, and then people kind of started coming there and stuff like that. And that's how the Connect event kind of started.
Shout out Serge, holding down the culture in the community right there in Sac.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
So let's talk about some new product innovations. I know you guys are always R&D and stuff. Speaking of Sacramento, what can growers expect in 2026, beyond the vector fly trap, and anything else coming out?
I mean, there is, first of all, there's something that's out now that I didn't mention is it's kind of on that idea of that zone 1. It's called a crawl card. That's basically a pre-cut card that's void of glue on one side that you lay flat, that wraps around the base of the plant. It's really good for vegging plants and some others and things like that. That's really going to help kind of with that same idea that he was talking about. It's going to get them at that maturity stage where they're crawling. They crawl before they fly kind of effect. And as well as potentially any crawling pest, mites, things like that may be coming from that zone or that area. There's an opportunity for you to monitor or potentially slow it down from spreading before you have to do any applications and things like that. And that's out now. That's called a crawl card. But something new that we were talking about, working on and developing, and it's not out or available yet, but you can look forward to, is an Inner-Canopy light trap. So it's going to be a strip about 3 feet, and then that's something we're going to be doing testing on.
Is that going to be on the under canopy light?
That would be the concept, or on railing, on racks,
How do you intend to use it, Alex?
We were discussing that, and then I was telling them there's different Inner-Canopy or under canopy light companies out there, and the mold's different. So I actually took a measuring tape and I went and measured one of our inner canopy lights. And our inner canopy lights has got glass on all three sides because it's got, you know, two sides, the top, and then either side and then the top. But it's just like kind of like, it'll be an area roughly about a quarter inch that you peel, and then you put on the underside of the canopy. So you're going to have roughly 40 inches, 40 inches of a catch strip, you know, and it's right there by the light. So, and then it's in the canopy, so it should catch any pest that might be crawling around there or flying around the area.
Yeah, it's a great zone, it's a great opportunity since that's been trending. You know, that's the way to go. Is putting in inner-canopy lighting is the way to go. Mm-hmm. And so now that we have that there's an opportunity potentially to utilize the light in that zone and that warmth and the light that attracts pests will kind of fly around there, and you can actually catch them at that early stage.
Yep,
So
I kind of remember when I was talking to you about it that I said our inner canopy light is one of the hardest ones to probably put that sticky. We're getting away from the stands. Stands are losers. Too much labor to put in stands. So we have rails that actually support all our inner canopy lighting. It's just way more cost effective. Our biggest cost is labor. So we
Labor
minimize
efficiency.
That. Yeah, efficiency is key. So I told him, you know what, we can put that little sticky part that you peel off on the rail, and then it's going to hang below the light and it exposes the sticky glue. I think we're going to say yellow or some other colors, white, yellow.
Yeah, that's some other things that we're going to do R&D on is different colors, because if you have the light existing down there, maybe white will work better. So we're going to try that out. Clear is another option potentially. And then, of course, yellow or a fluorescent yellow, which we have all of these things. So we're just going to start implementing them, and we'll post them on Instagram. And once we get far enough along in that, and especially with the new racking innovations and all that too, or the railing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a good complementary good. You know, every time a grower buys an under canopy light, they should also be adding that to their cart.
Yep. And like I said, you got to catch them before they, you know, before they go and lay larvae, you know, down there. And if they happen to get laid, you know, they're going to lay it in there and the larvae comes out, then they're going to go look at the yellow, whatever color attracts them, and then they get caught before they go and breed again.
And we are testing other colors too. We have violet that we're working with. We're working with some scented ones as well. But chartreuse or yellow has been the standard in the industry. But yeah, there'll be more and more information coming out, you know, through the course of 2026 about various colors and attractants for various types of pests as well.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, how has your MJ Biz experience been this year? I know you've been here for several years. We were kind of boothing by each other last year. How is it over there?
I gotta be honest, it's been slow. It's like
Slow.
It seems like every year. I've been coming to MJ Biz and setting up our booth for about 6 years now, 5-6 years, and it's definitely taking a beating. I think it's been slow. You know, the customers that we get are good leads, but definitely the traffic is slow.
Okay. Like overall foot traffic?
Foot traffic is slow.
Are you guys just walking this year, Alex? Are you seeing the same?
Catchmaster, we stopped doing a booth just last year and this year, but that's because of our distribution partners. We already have a lot of support, like from Quality Horticulture, Miami Mango. We have a lot of support, you know, already here, and we're represented here quite a bit. And so it seemed a little redundant and maybe take a little bit too much of attention away from our partners.
Right.
As far as like my experience this year, I just got here basically today, just for this, and so I'll be here the rest of the week, and I'll let you know.
Yeah, this is my 13th year, and I know 2026 they're going to be combining everything under one hall, so I'm looking forward to that. It kind of brings it back to the original days.
Yeah,
it used to be crazy.
Yeah, it used to be couldn't
crazy.
even walk.
The size of the extraction machines and the cultivation equipment that was back then, it was tremendous.
I remember Maximum Yield trade show.
Oh yeah,
in San Francisco. That was wild. You'd have lines out the door with people with
to
carts.
Before they shut it down, and
Yeah.
It was on the pier somewhere in SF.
Right. Yes.
Maybe we went to the same one.
We
But
probably did.
Yes.
Yeah, I was with Botanicare back then. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a nice booth there. Yeah.
Nice.
Maximum yield, that was the heyday. That was before Prop 64. It was 215 days.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing people leaving those events with like bags and bags full of nutrients.
Yep, exactly.
And
Samples.
Catchmaster samples.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, right on, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Any questions here? We got a grower right here. Are you a Catchmaster customer? Yeah?
Well, actually, I have. I did bring up. Oh, it's right here. I brought a bag of just some samples I'm going to give out, but also some of the posters too, if anybody wants the Pest ID posters.
Nice.
But like I said, anybody watching this also online, you could DM me and I can mail you out one too.
The posters are cool. We have them in our break room, and we also have them in the hallways, just because it's always cool to look at. And not everybody's as knowledgeable on bugs.
Yeah.
So even our employees will walk through. Guys that they're just workers, and they'll stop there and then look at it. It's pretty cool to look at.
I should shout out to Suzanne, the bug lady too. She's the one that took the photos for us. Just to add a little bit of how do you say that? Authority, or to it, because that way, she really knows her stuff, and she helped us with supplying the photos so we can make sure that they're accurate.
Right on. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's kick ass. Day 2, MJ Biz.
Thank you for having us.
Yep,
Appreciate
cheers.
it.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.